Imagine tucking your newborn baby into their crib, turning off the light, and finally feeling that sweet sense of relief that they're resting peacefully. But suddenly, your family dog refuses to leave the nursery. He growls, scratches, even whimpers each time you try to close the door. At first, you think it's just jealousy or bad behavior. But when you finally listen to him, what you discover shakes you to your core and sends you racing to dial 911 in the middle of the night. This is the unbelievable true story of how one dog's loyalty saved a baby's life. It was late spring when Sarah and Mark brought home their newborn daughter, Emma. Like many new parents, they were overwhelmed but overjoyed. Their golden retriever, Max, had always been the gentle guardian of the house, a dog with a soul so deep that Sarah often joked he understood more than most people. From the first day Emma came home, Max would sit quietly by her crib, tilting his head as if he was listening to every soft breath she made. At first it was comforting. Max seemed protective, loyal, and calm around the baby, but within a week, things changed. Every time they tried to put Emma down in her crib at night, Max would not budge from the room. If they tried to lead him out, he would resist, growling softly under his breath, which was completely unlike him. He had never shown aggression in his life. The first night they managed to coax him downstairs, they were startled awake just an hour later by his furious barking. Sarah rushed into the nursery, heart pounding, only to find Max pressed up against the crib, staring at Emma, who was sleeping soundly. She scolded him and carried him out, but the unease lingered in her chest. Over the next few nights, the pattern continued. Max refused to leave the baby's side. He scratched at the door if they shut him out, whimpered endlessly, and sometimes let out warning growls at thin air. Sarah and Mark began to argue about it. Was Max being protective, or was he jealous? Sarah worried he might accidentally hurt Emma out of frustration. But then something changed. One night, Sarah noticed Emma stirring, her tiny arms twitching, her face turning pale. Before Sarah could move, Max let out the loudest bark she'd ever heard and pressed his nose against the crib bars, almost as if trying to wake the baby. Sarah rushed forward, picked Emma up, and realized her daughter wasn't breathing properly. For a split second, the room froze. Then Emma let out a shallow, strained gasp and started crying. Sarah's legs buckled, tears flooding her eyes. She had no idea what was happening to her baby, but one thing was certain: Max knew before she did. And now she couldn't shake the fear that maybe, just maybe, he'd been trying to warn them all along. The following evening, Sarah couldn't sleep. She sat in the rocking chair in Emma's room, Max lying faithfully at her feet. Every creak of the floor, every shift in Emma's breathing made her heart race. She kept replaying the moment from last night, her baby going limp, her dog barking like a siren. It was around 2 a.m. when it happened again. Emma was fast asleep, her tiny chest rising and falling, but suddenly Max's ears shot up. He stood, tail stiff, and fixed his gaze on the crib. Then he growled low and sharp. Sarah leaned forward, panic rising in her throat. She looked at Emma, who seemed fine, but Max wouldn't stop. He placed his front paws on the crib and let out a frantic howl that jolted Sarah to her feet. When she lifted Emma, her heart nearly stopped. Her baby's lips were faintly blue, her body frighteningly still. With trembling hands, Sarah screamed for Mark, who stumbled into the room half asleep. Max was barking wildly now, circling them like he was urging them to act faster. Mark grabbed the phone and dialed 911. His voice cracked as he explained the situation, while Sarah tried to keep Emma awake, rubbing her tiny arms, whispering through tears, "Stay with me, baby, stay with me." The paramedics arrived within minutes, their lights piercing the night. The diagnosis was terrifying yet clear. Emma had a rare condition causing episodes where her airway would temporarily close while she slept. If not for the immediate intervention, the doctors explained, she might not have survived the night. Sarah clutched Emma to her chest, tears soaking her daughter's blanket. She turned to Max, who sat quietly in the hospital room now, his eyes soft but knowing. The doctors said they had never seen anything like it, a dog detecting the danger before any human could. From that night on, Max was no longer just the family pet. He was Emma's guardian angel, the silent protector who refused to let her face the darkness alone. The family moved Emma's crib into their bedroom, with Max stationed faithfully at the foot of the bed. Sarah often thought back to that moment. She dialed 911, the raw terror in her chest. And then she thought of Max, who never gave up on trying to warn them. She realized sometimes love speaks without words, and sometimes heroes walk on four legs. So the next time you see your pet act strangely, don't ignore it. Sometimes they sense things we can't. And sometimes, just sometimes, their instincts are the very thing that saves the people we love most. Max didn't just save a baby's life, he reminded a family what loyalty, faith, and unconditional love truly mean.